Thank you so much, Dr. Sandler. Good morning. I'm honored to be here today to welcome you to Penn State Abington on behalf of the faculty. 15 years ago, I was sitting where you are today for my first year student convocation. As a student coming out of high school, unsure of where my major or my life would be headed, I never imagined that all these years later, I would be here as your convocation speaker. When I thought about what to say, I looked back on the many convocation and graduation speeches I've attended both as a student and a faculty member. I thought about what I liked best and what was most memorable about those speeches. And here's my list. Number 1, talk about something from your field of study. One of my favorite things to talk about in my classes is called the bystander effect. Now this is the idea that the more people who are around, the less likely anyone is to help. One of the initial experiments that was run to test this idea was where college students were placed in a room with smoke coming out from under the door, suggesting that there might be a fire. Now what would you do if you were in this situation? Now don't worry, the fire was not real. But what the psychologist wanted to test was whether the number of students in the room had any effect on the students' willingness to go and seek help. And what they discovered was that the more students who were in the room, the less likely anyone was to go and seek help. Now, although this seems counterintuitive at first, it does make sense for a couple of reasons. First, no one wants to be the first one to define the situation as an emergency, because what if you're wrong? You don't want to look foolish. And second, the more people who are around, the less anyone feels an individual sense of responsibility. Now, knowing the potentially harmful effects of being a bystander in life, such as this fire situation, I encourage you to take action and to not be a bystander in your life here at Abington. And I mean this in a few ways. If you see someone struggling, help. So if you see a classmate drop her books all over the Sutherland Plaza, stop and help her pick them up. I also mean this in terms of your engagement in campus life, whether this means joining a sports team, being a Lion ambassador so you can walk backwards across campus and tell prospective students and their families how great Abington is, or whether this means going to your professor's office hours and talking to them about course material or your career goals. This is what many of us love about our jobs, to connect with you individually and to hear your thoughts and goals. In not being a bystander in our lives, we can all be more productive and engaged citizens and make our campus and our lives better. The number 2 most memorable thing that I learned from other speeches is to talk about your own college experiences. I majored in human development and family studies. I discovered this major one day while browsing the internet, and I decided to transfer after my first year of college to a school that had this major. Fortunately, I made the right choice because I absolutely loved it. But because I went to a liberal arts school, I had to take a number of courses outside of my major, as you will do here at Penn State. Some of the most memorable ones include a course called Murder, which was a criminal justice class on murder and the law. A class called Past and Presences, which was an English and history course, where I went into the college archives and I read the diaries of the female students who attended in the early 1900s. But perhaps my most memorable course was an education class where I was paired with a staff member on campus, and I tutored her in reading. My partner was Barb, a woman in her 40s who was a custodian in a dormitory and lived in a trailer in a remote rural area. She dropped out of high school because she had a learning disability and no one had taken the time to help her. As a result, she had very limited reading skills and she wanted to work on them so she could pass her GED. We met every week for a semester where she would practice reading out loud to me. Although I had learned about educational disadvantage and rural poverty in my classes, never had I experienced it firsthand until taking this class. So my point here is to take courses outside of your major. You may never have another opportunity to learn about something so different from your chosen career or pathway. And this may require going out of your comfort zone. It certainly did for me. I imagine what Barb thought of a 19-year-old student being her teacher. But the rewards of doing this are tremendous. Learning about something completely brand new and learning more about yourself as a person. Number 3, make reference to the present time period. We live in a busy, fast-paced, technology-driven world. We work a lot, we share our thoughts and feelings on Twitter, we post pictures of ourselves on Facebook, and we never seem to be without our cell phones. In a recent study at the University of Maryland, college students were asked to unplug from all technology for 24 hours and to write about their experiences on a blog. Now, have you ever done that? Would you even consider doing that? Well, the students in this study reported feelings similar to those withdrawing from alcohol and drugs. They reported, quote, being miserable, jittery, frantically craving, and very anxious. Now, as this study illustrates, it's hard for students, and probably the rest of us too, to unplug. At the first college I went to, we had a special tradition called Mountain Day. On some day during the fall semester, a day unknown to students, a bell would ring across campus, signaling to us that classes were canceled for the day. The idea was that we take a break from our everyday lives and we explore the mountains of New England. And that's exactly what my friends and I did, and I still have the pictures that document all the places we visited. Although it may have been easier back then to take a break from everyday life because we didn't have cell phones or Facebook or Twitter to distract us, I encourage you to do the same today. Take your own mountain day every once in a while. Even if you can't completely unplug for the day, do something a little different. Whether this is read a book, go for a walk, explore a new area. And you will need it because you will be busy. You'll have homework, papers, exams, and for some of you, work responsibilities outside of school. By taking a break every once in a while, you'll feel more balanced and energized. Considering that my points today were constructed by observing what others do well, my take-home message for today is this: learn from others. Learn from your faculty, your classmates, your coaches. Think about what they do well, be open to their perspectives, and then decide whether you agree or disagree with them. Also remember that people are learning from you. Every semester when I meet individually with students, I hear how students like hearing the opinions of their classmates. I can assure you that what you say and do has a powerful impact on your peers. As faculty, we learn new things from our students every semester. It's the interaction with you, the students, your questions in class, stopping by our office hours, that makes teaching so rewarding and enriching. To the students of this fall 2012 incoming class, I wish you an exciting, productive, and enriching academic career. Welcome to Penn State Abington.